On the hot streak of talking about the cause and effect of female steroid usage, we have a little bit more to check in on. In fact, this is a gal we spoke about over a year ago on this channel, and she goes by the name of Vladislava. You've probably seen her. She's the OnlyFans bodybuilder that got extremely popular. We're talking multiple millions of followers extremely quick on her social media career. Now, we're not going to do the deepest deep dive today in the K-hole because we've already talked about her extensively, but we'll go a little bit more shallower this time. Vladislava is a girl who had an upbringing in Russia and slowly over time transformed into a bodybuilder, then slowly transitioned into OnlyFans content exclusively, now making over $100,000 a month according to her. Her family was very conservative, which had pushed her initially to be a little bit more explorative, both in a bodybuilding sense and more in a sexuality context. My hair is really messed up before I continue. All right, I know it's getting warmer in Florida, so I've been riding bikes more. I just bought an MT-09, and now I'm looking at buying, maybe you guys can help me with this, an Aprilia V4 or a Ducati V4, one of the two. I'm just gonna either drop the 20 plus bands on the Ducati or maybe go for something a little bit more reasonable. I don't know, maybe your thoughts. Also, you know what's also explorative, just like Vladislava here? It's subscribing to this channel. It'll allow you to fall deeper into the K-hole. Many videos talking about anabolic steroids in females, alpha males being absolute berserker idiots online, and so much more. And if you're interested, we have free access to an educational course down below that talks about training, nutrition, and much, much more. Even a content creation course with almost 12 to 15 plus hours of content in there. And if you're looking for something more personal, Blood Bill Coaching does sponsor this channel. They offer one-on-one coaching down below in the links as well. You can click to learn more down there and find out if it's a good thing for you. That type of coaching is a lot more effective than what we're going to talk about here. Her desire to make income specifically came from having struggles when in Bulgaria and the Czech Republic, when she had to actually drop out of school because she wasn't able to afford the basic necessities. On her journey to start professional bodybuilding, she found a lot of money. She found consistent income and fame along with that. This led her to taking steroids such as Anavar, even Dianabol, and testosterone, all of which she's talked about openly. Thankfully, she didn't use them for very long and stopped before she had the gnarly side effects we often talk about on this channel. She's actually one of the women who I believe is enhanced correctly because she's so unvirilized, and even her voice is unchanged, which we also talked about in that video from a decade ago. But let's just fast forward to now. She has started a fitness coaching company on top of her OnlyFans content, which is her main source of income clearly, but the fitness company maybe is her trying to branch out. Now, this company promises to help people achieve their dream body as quick as possible. On the specific Instagram page for this content, she talks about workouts, nutritional things, and much more, but nothing about client results, nothing about a before and after or how somebody is saying the service is so great, nothing like that. In fact, I think it's actually more clear that she's working with some kind of social media company to produce her content for her because the posts are just sort of very slop. I mean, they're quite pointless. Posts like this, the basic keys to success, where she says, or probably some dude named Vihin says, that discipline and hard work are how you're going to get results. No shit, Sherlock, of course. I wonder if that's the same motto she uses with her OnlyFans account. She also talks about other things, brilliant things. Get ready for this. This is huge, groundbreaking stuff here. Reduce your sugar intake. That's all the post says. That's all it says. There's no description. There's no action. There's nothing extra. There's no science. It's just reduce your sugar intake. Great. I am sure the people who are going to be reading that have probably heard it from a doctor, a friend, or a family member at least 100 different times. It's probably the least helpful advice you could give someone on the path to weight loss. But here's the real problem. The advice, while surface level, might be helpful, right? It could be helpful, but is the service that actually costs money helpful? Let me show you something, because I had some screenshots brought to my attention and a few people come to me with some complaints about this application. I made the video a long time ago. It was kind of brought up in that video and then just recently again, and it's definitely interesting. This screenshot is from her app on the support page. This is kind of insider access, if you will. From this screenshot, you can see that there is quite a few unhappy people. And this is all within the last month, mind you. And basically what it seems is that people are unhappy with not getting training programs, not getting diet programs, not being able to cancel their service or get refunds, not just feeling satisfied in general. And this is what I heard from the people that I was discussing this with, who were on the inside getting the service real time. And it says personalized programs in the website, but That's entirely impossible at this volume, at this level, with only $10 per client without software or AI. No one's going to be sitting there for 2 hours building a program for somebody with only $10 in their pocket and then follow up with a service after that for the same $10 when they're making millions of dollars a year. That just doesn't make sense. It's not scalable. It's not possible. It's never going to be able to be done. It's AI or it's software development that's giving you a service. It's not a person. And from what I can tell, essentially the nutrition programs and the training programs are all procedurally generated based on someone's brief inputs into the app. They get sent some kind of program that's been automatically generated based on their replies, and they're told to kick some ass. And again, honestly, if you're paying this much for a service, like there's not much more you can expect. This is what you're going to get with $10 a month. Essentially, you're paying for someone's intellectual property, which is a lot of the reasons I can't show you more here because technically it's illegal, which is why I'm not showing you more here because I'm not trying to get sued. Okay, it's technically illegal to show people's intellectual property out there for free. However, this isn't a new thing. Okay, usually these apps are designed to be a form of low maintenance but high passive income for fitness influencers. And what happens is they begin to pay a company to produce and maintain that application for them. And then they just hire a VA on the back end to control the churn rate and make sure that people aren't just dropping off like flies. This is actually called white label software. Essentially, you pay a company to license their application, and then they'll just put a coat of paint over it for you, which includes your pictures, your branding, your colors, and then you sell it as your application. But this is happening everywhere, and people are feeling scammed and catching on to the shit slop fest that's going on. Sorry, that's the only adjectives I could come up for this. In fact, this Redditor did the due diligence to find all of the influencers that have the same application but different branding, selling it at a low monthly fee. Most of these influencers fall back on working with an agency called Elevate Agency, a company specialized in this kind of thing. Their main page says that they provide unparalleled expertise, influence, and insights across the diverse digital spectrum. And what seems to be happening is that this company is targeting fitness influencers exclusively just to make a quick coin, with posts like this running on Meta ads targeting fitness influencers making over 6 figures per month. And it basically seems like these people are paying these people to get set up. They're changing the branding of the already made software and then basically running it, providing a customer satisfaction type service, but really not doing too much to provide a good service. It's scammy as hell, because the product is being sold as a unique product, but it's not at all. In fact, the workout programs, the diet programs, they're all likely the same. And the reason I know any of this is I've actually had 3 different companies come up and do this to me. They say, hey, we want to work with you. We want to build your app. We want to, make this thing look big. You're going to make money. It's going to be crazy. You'll make $100,000 a month just off this app. You won't even have to log in. It's going to be great. And then they show me it. They give me the demo. I'm like, okay, I always wanted an app because I feel like it would be really cool to be able to manage my clients from an app that's not somebody else's. I want my own. I want to kind of make it as I want it because I know how I operate with my clients. Unfortunately, it wasn't that. It was just, yeah, we'll change it to exactly how you want with colors, a logo, and your pictures. And then they showed me Alex Eubank, who was working with them. I'm just going to completely leave all of this undisclosed. I don't want to talk about the company exactly because I don't know. It seems like a bad idea, but it's basically the same thing. Alex's app was exactly the same as what they made for me briefly. And it was just different colors, his pictures, not my pictures, in different font. That's all it was. The same application, the same training programs, the same nutritional programs, the same macro calculator, all of it was the same. Even though I have far more diverse beliefs and we'll just call it, I just operate differently in fitness than Alex Eubank does. And what's really sad about all of this is that this is usually someone's or most people's intro into fitness. They pay for a low cost, high supply service like this with an application, and they get just really poor service and poor programming, like copy paste type programming. And now they think of this as the norm. And you and I are just about the only people left from the new generation coming in and the old generation who knows what's going on, who knows this is bullshit, who knows the tactics, but the new generation, they don't understand. They just see a fancy app with nice colors that does stuff and they're going to click it, pay for it, forget the subscription exists, and that person's going to make money for the next, who knows, a year and 6 months, 2 years based off that subscription model because they forgot to cancel it or they've been using a subpar service. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's great to have have a fitness program. I think it's great to have a nutritional program. Sometimes something is better than nothing, but you should absolutely have something that's dialed in to your specifics. You should be getting a white glove service when you're talking about your health, your body, and your goals. And don't get me wrong, I also think you can have any business model as long as people are willing to pay for something, because you're fixing a problem, you're fixing a thing that people need fixed. However, what is the problem is that businesses now, fitness businesses, are scaling off of marketing and not service. They're scaling off of how well they can sell the image of what that person's going to give you compared to actually giving you the idea that they sold you. It's a really interesting thing. There could be a business out there that operates at this model with $10 a month being the standard and provides a really good service, which honestly I think it would be game changing. But unfortunately in 2025, we have businesses that mostly scale and grow based off marketing hype alone with no substance behind them. All it takes is a BBL and posting online about how your great body was achieved, and then you happen to sell a fitness program and it's an app and it costs a fraction of a real coach and it's a monthly subscription. It's no big deal. In fact, like this gal, Tammy Hembrow. Jesus, dude.
Good morning, Hebrews and Shebrews.
She rarely provides concrete fitness advice or nutritional tips. Her advice is vague and often misleading entirely. It's also manipulative and disingenuous to be able to say things completely incorrectly, but sell people on a dream physique based on information that you got wrong, and then basically just getting this VA team to manage clients that you don't really care about in the first place for the whole time. It's really destructive. Of course, I don't have the answer of how to fix stuff like this, because this isn't the only person we see it with. Vlad isn't the only person we see this with. It's everywhere. Alex Eubank has an app like this, truly, and it's kind of odd. I think he actually deleted it recently, but it is what it is. It was there. And I don't have an answer on how to solve this, right? I don't have an answer. The best I can say is you need to do your own research. The most I can do, whether people like me for it or not, which most of the time it turns out that people don't like me when I talk about things that are directly problematic to them, like steroid usage in females, or like building falsified programs, or scamming people for money. They don't like that, and so they tend to talk about it. They tend to talk about me in a negative light. Fine, whatever. But if I talk about things more and more and bring it to more people, and more people get awareness of these kind of things, maybe people can just be a little bit safer with themselves. Look, I'm a potent nihilist, so if someone spends money on something, if they bought into the marketing hype, that's on them, right? At the end of the day, I am someone who believes that life is inherently meaningless and that there is no objective values, there's no objective truths, there's no purpose behind anything we do. Sounds bad, right? I get it, right? I sound like an asshole.
You need to leave!
But truly, that's a freeing thought, to think that there's no purpose behind anything we do. The best thing that we can do as a human being is just try to live the best life that we can live, however we define it. And so if you think that spending that money is going to help you, spend it, you learn, and that's just life. It happens. I truly don't believe that anything is going to stop these content creators from using these apps to make a quick buck, to be honest, because if they can get 50,000 people to spend $10, they're making $500,000 a month, right? And that's pretty easy money for someone who has multi-millions of followers. And for app developers, that means a huge upfront close. They're making tens of thousands of dollars from selling a product that they made 10 years ago, and they just keep repurposing. So it's very, very low cost for them to maintain, but high income because they're just charging the asshole out of these people. So yeah, it's a nasty situation, but this stuff happens. I think these pre-programmed, white-labeled fitness apps are honestly disgusting. You can do your due diligence and researching these companies. They're out there. I don't want to say the names, but they're out there. And basically all it is you slap some paint on it, colors, pictures, and font. You have pre-built programs, you have pre-built nutrition programs, you have everything in there. You even have, like, some of them go as far as writing fake blog posts for you in the apps. It's ridiculous. And of course, people eat it up. So just be careful. Understand that if someone has an app, there's a very, very, very high probability that that app is just the same thing. Because unfortunately, to develop an app, I don't know if you guys are aware, I did the due diligence of trying to do the right thing. It's like $25,000 to $45,000 to just build the app. Then you have to have some sort of tech on retainer, because of course phones update, computers update, so you need to keep the app up to date with the latest firmware of whatever device you're operating on, both Android, Apple, MacBook. Then you have Windows computers, then you have Linux. I mean, it's all of these things require more money. So you're paying on retainer about $1,500 $1,500 to $2,500 a month to keep someone on. And so you really have to turn a lot of money to make profit on an app, and it costs a huge upfront investment. And the best part is it's not going to be ready in a month. It's not going to be ready in 2 months. You're talking about something that the development of it will probably take, if you're really lucky, 8 months. If you're unlucky and it's a complicated app, you're talking 12 months. And then you got to evaluate the app, see if it's good. You're definitely going to find things you don't like. So then they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. You get the point. It is a huge investment up front. Most people aren't going to be starting their own apps, especially if they're just an Instagram influencer, unfortunately. So understand that if you see someone with an app, you better do your due diligence. Look at it, check it out. Make sure it's not just some white labeled slop from somebody else's intellectual property. But let me know what you think.